What is up, you guys? Welcome to trading session number 19. We are looking at the S&P 500 6-month chart here, and look at that, guys. We are seeing a recovery from the Wednesday drop. We're looking, if we zoom in here, we saw it really drop on Wednesday, and then now we are bouncing off that 50-day and making hopefully a newer high there. So we look at the 5-day chart here, we could see, really sold off as we were talking about yesterday's trading session. It really made a bang after hours, choppy during hours, and then really made another bang in after hours, and we see it again pretty choppy. And if we go to the 1 minute 1 minute chart here, you could see it really consolidating, really choppy in the market, and you can see it really dove down the 200-day here, and it's making the new low for the day here. So we will see what it does. We're in the middle. Today the Santa Claus Rally has begun. It's the last 5 days of trading days of the year, and then the first 2 of the new year. So we are looking for a Santa Claus Rally. There's only been, I believe, 2 years out of the last 10 years that the stock market has not rallied at the end of the year. So I think we read that today, and we will see what it does. So 80% of the time it's rallies by the end of the year. So that is the 1 day, 1 minute. This go back to the 6 month. You can see it's still pretty healthy there, bouncing off the 50-day, and we'll see what happens today and then when the market opens next week. So let's dive into some news here. So S&P rises Friday, heads for 8th straight winning week, guys. That is pretty big. We have the Dow Jones adding 36 points. Up 0.1%, NASDAQ higher at 0.4%, and then S&P 0.4%. That was today. Nike's in the news. We have Nike, really making a, really big volatility in Nike with 10% lower than expected. We'll dive into that, and it's lowering its sales outlook. So the guidance of Nike, a lot of investors are escaping the stock. They don't trust Nike anymore, and they also are announcing plans to cut costs by $2 billion over the next 3 years, guys. And then also in the news, the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge came in less than expected. November core personal consumption expenditures price index rose 0.1 in the last month. All right, so we got 13 stocks in the S&P hitting new all-time highs. Unfortunately, the Mogul 30 are not one of those stocks. What else we have? Here is really explaining Nike. Nike poised to see biggest loss in more than a year, guys. More than a year, Nike has. It hasn't really experienced a loss as big as this one. The athletic retailer shares tumbling 11% in midday trading. And you can see right here, Friday's sell-off comes a day after company offered poor sales and guidance and announced cost cuts. So we will take a look at Nike. We'll go into Webull instead of this graph. We'll go into Webull and check it out. And then here is the Santa Claus Rally. It's kicking off with a bang, guys. So, as I mentioned, 80% of the time, the market is, there it is. Historically, Santa Claus Rally has an almost 80% success rate, which is 2 years in the past 10, seeing S&P 500 declines during the period. Stocks have gained an average of 1.3% during the rally since 1950, higher than any other consecutive 7-day trading period. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. It's, we're ready to sell if we see overbought values again, guys. What else do we have? I believe there's one other thing we want to get into. Oh yeah, we got core PCE rises less than expected in November. The Federal Reserve favored inflation gauge shows prices rise less than expected. For personal consumption, expenditures price index rose 3.2% in November on an annual basis and a 0.1% for the month. So this, guys, that is pretty much the news for today. We'll leave this in description below as always. You guys can check it out yourself and read it in detail. So let's go ahead and dive into the portfolio now. We are looking at our covered call right now with Palantir. We'll see what happens. It is trading, I believe, at 1742, 1741, 1742. We'll see what happens. Definitely not in the 18 strike price. So we might keep those shares. So we'll plan accordingly. We might have to average down our average price to jump in at a lower strike price than $18 the next time around. So we'll see what happens with Palantir. That expires today. So we'll let you know the next trading period, what happens with this covered call, as after hours today, we'll figure out what happens with the Palantir position covered call. It was at over 18 earlier this week. So that is the update on the Palantir covered call position. We made, I believe, $38 premium. We added that to the cash, and then we're going to be entering hopefully another covered call next week. So we'll see what happens to Palantir. It's easily one of the biggest in the portfolio because we nominated it to be the covered call position with 100 shares. Now we're going to be diving into, Nike. Let's see what Nike has to offer here. It is the worst performing stock in the portfolio today. So look at that difference between Disney and Nike. We have a Nike 11.77% down, and then Nike is 1.16% down. So that's a major difference, 10%. And look at that graph, guys. We saw it, really above the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, creating higher highs. And then all of a sudden, once they posted earnings yesterday, they really dove down. Investors did not like what they saw yesterday with Nike missing revenue and, really their guidance. They're not expecting a lot of sales this year, as consumers are pretty much, pumping the brakes, and they're going to have to make some cost cuts, to really start, they need to breathe through this market we're having. So we'll see, what Nike has in store. We are going to be keeping Nike. We think it is one of the best retailers out there as far as athletic wear. As of right now, we will keep it. The only other competitor I see switching it to is probably Lululemon, but we'll have to do a bunch of more research on Lululemon to be able to switch Nike out. But right now we are keeping Nike, and we are also going to be buying Nike today. So it's pretty easy call. I mean, look at it, 23 RSI on the 6 month, and you could see on the 1 day here, really coming down, and it's really consolidating right here, guys. That is the 1 day, 1 minute chart on Nike, trading at 108.13 right now. So let's go ahead and lock in a Nike buy right now. And that is looking like a great deal for us, and we will, we think Nike's going to figure it out in the future. It's a huge company. I think it's a $185 billion market cap, and we really think Nike will be able to fix its short-term problems in the near future. So let's go ahead and lock in a $10 buy of Nike here. All right, Nike NYSE buy, $10 buy, 0.9256. Let's lock that in. All right, we just bought Nike, and we are excited to really expand this position. I believe our average price right now is $100.35. So that is, we have it lower than what it's trading for right now. So we're still, if it comes down below 100, you bet we're going to be putting in a lot more money than we are right now. So trading at 108, our average price is 135 now. Market value 69.95. We only have a 0.64766 quantity, and we are still up on the position, but not as much. We only have a 7.62% return on it now. It was a lot bigger earlier this week after or before the earnings, but we're only up 496. We are happy to put $10 in today while it's trading for a deal, and hopefully it bounces back up off this 200-day and investors come back in and start buying it. So that is our Nike buy. We are not going to trim. We trimmed Amazon earlier this week, and that was our trim of the week. We are looking at Google to eventually trim, but right now we are not there yet. We really want this above 70, and we'll see what happens after this Santa Claus Rally, what it's at. We have 1.3 shares in Google, and that's our minimum requirement, is to have at least one share to be able to trim it. So we'll see what happens with Google the next trading session. And just a reminder, guys, we are not going to be trading the day after Christmas. Trading will resume on Wednesday, I believe the 27th, and that'll be trading session number 20. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this trading session. You got Santa Claus Rally really helping the stock market right now. S&P market has recovered since Wednesday. The Nike earnings, and really investors fearful with that stock, causing a deal with Nike. And just to look at SPY one more time, you can see it really hovering above that 50-day moving average, bouncing off of it all the way up. So we will see what happens next week. I want to thank you guys so much for watching trading session number 19. If you're not subscribed here yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And then if you're not part of our Discord yet, if you're not part of our club, feel free to go to mogulfellows.com and check out the membership. So it is free right now, guys. We are going to be charging for it in 2024. So get in there while you still can and be a founding member in there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the outro.